Well, let me ask you this. So, your years working as a banker,
Yeah.
was probably like the most important thing as far as finances that you took away, as far as things that you've seen people not really paying attention to that they should.
Hmm. It's a great question.
So I know like budgeting is one thing, you know what I mean? Savings definitely one thing. But what's another step where we could take further where, because I mean, people know about savings, people know about budgeting, but we don't do it.
I'll be honest with you. Um, I feel as though a lot of people that I've met in my years of banking, specifically in the black community, they didn't have trade lines.
What's that?
A trade line is like either credit cards, lines of credit, these basically credit accounts.
Got you.
Don't have them. I've run across so many people, and I'm like, "Hey, do you know what like simple enough? Do you know what a trade line is?" And they're like, "No, I don't have them. I don't do credit cards. They scary." And I would always ask them the question, "Well, what's scary about a credit card?" Well, my mom told me that I shouldn't get a credit card because it's gonna put me in credit card debt. I'm like, "Was your mom in credit card debt?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, your mom was in credit card debt because of her bad habits, not because of the credit card. It's because she wasn't focused on the things that she was spending money on so that she could fix her habits so then she could be in the right financial position." And I had to break down that process to so many younger black men, specifically black men. I feel like I would say a lot of the white men that I met, they kind of had a better grasp on credit. Just maybe it was based off of the area that I was in too. I was in downtown Center City, Philly. So every time I would see like a white man or woman come in, they would have at least one credit card or two, and they understood how to transfer debt over. They knew how to transfer their debt that had a high interest rate over to a interest free credit account so that they could pay it down as fast as they could. Like they knew strategies like that, but in the black community, it was a little bit more challenging. So I would say trade lines and credit. Interesting enough, and it's like we got to get out of that mentality that credit cards are bad, that debt is bad, and I should just stay away from it. When honestly, that is the one thing that creates so much buying power for you. If you don't have any cash on hand, having credit to your name, a 700, 750, 800 credit score is so, you have so much leverage when it comes to walking inside of the bank to where you don't need cash now because they'll give it to you based off of your credit history. Now you could take that money to do whatever you so please. You want to go into real estate investing, you want to start a business, but you have little to no capital, or why your capital is your credit. And people also don't understand, in like in our communities, black communities, they we don't understand that even if you put yourself in a bad situation credit wise, they literally created a system where you can get your credit fixed and start all over again. You know how many billionaires, millionaires file for bankruptcy, and they literally play with the system and do it all over. We got to get a better grasp of that. So that's one of the biggest things I've seen.
And the only way that we will is if someone's willing to teach us. I told you before, I mean, the first time I heard about credit was when my pop told me. He told me if I did something, it was going to like ruin my credit. I was 19. Like, yo, what the heck is credit? You know what I
If you
mean?
did, but did he have a conversation with you about if you did what though?
Student loans. If I took out that student loan, it would mess up my credit.
So he just had a blanket statement of you took out a student loan and mess up your credit.
Yeah.
Did he break down as to how it could possibly mess up
Nope.
your credit?
I don't even know what credit was.
Funny enough, student loans can't mess up your credit unless you don't pay it and it goes into default. Student loans are considered a trade line. Now that's one of the only things that no matter what you do, you're not getting student loans off of your credit. The government gonna get their money. But literally that's a trade line. And you can literally pay a few $100s a month for your student loans, and that creates positive credit history, to be honest.
Well, so since a lot of college kids are going back to, yeah, about going back to school, would you suggest they get credit cards? Just use them wisely, or
Now, the thing is with college kids, a lot of them are already putting themselves in a very, I don't want to say that because I don't want to discourage anybody from going to school, but for many who are putting themselves into a lot of debt, I don't feel as though that college should be the first entry. I don't feel as though student loan debt should be the entryway to debt.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like 80 to 100K, even if it's 60K, as a 19, 21-year-old, and this is your first introduction to debt, that's serious.
Yeah.
Like the amount of monthly payments that you're going to have when you graduate from school with no guarantee of whether or not you're going to get a job, that's just scary. And then there's no way that you can get rid of student loan debt. Of course, they have programs in place where you might be able to get what's it called, forgiveness, but I don't even know how that really works, to be honest. That's the one thing that you're not getting rid of. Credit cards and different things, you can mess up with your credit card. I had a credit card that I literally, when I was like 19 years old, I had my first credit card. It charged off. I think it charged off like 30, like I want to say like $350. A charge off is basically when the debt is bad to the company. I didn't pay it. Next thing you know, they put it on my collection account. They charged it off as bad debt. I got a negative inquiry on my credit report. It's a collection account. I literally went to a credit repair company, and I'm gonna plug Credit Exterminators, but went to a credit repair company. They wiped $350 wiped off because basically they sent the paperwork in to the company. The company needs to have all of your information accurate, and if they don't, then they have to remove it from your credit report within 30 to 60 days immediately. Luckily, they didn't have my right address. They spelled something wrong. Gone. Just like that. So it's things like that to where you can make mistakes on credit cards, and next thing you know, they can fix it. But it's not really about the mistake. It's not the mistakes on the credit card. The real question we should be asking ourselves is, why do we make mistakes like that? It all ties back down to financial literacy. When you get that credit card, what was your intention? Was your intention to spend money recklessly, money that you didn't have, and every time that you have little to no money in your account, you're like, oh, I'm about to go make this purchase anyway, and I'm gonna pay it back later. The second you say that to yourself, you already done messed up. Not the mentality you should have when getting a credit card. The strategy you should take when getting a credit card is, I'm going to leverage this to literally make small purchases just to be able to make payments on it, so I can have a small balance with a little utilization, 10 to 15% utilization, so I can grow the actual my credit score. And then when I get my score up to a certain point, now I can leverage that to now be able to make sound purchases that are going to yield me back a return. But that's the thought process that we didn't learn. You don't just get credit cards for no reason. You know what I'm saying? If I get a credit card, I'm getting it for a very particular reason, to build my credit. I'm making small purchases on it. If I can't afford it, I'm not using my credit card to buy it. If I can't afford a dumb purchase, I'm not using a credit card to buy it, you know? And that's kind of what we're missing, and what we have to learn. You know, use the credit card for the strategy of setting yourself up for the future, of being able to leverage your credit to be able to make sound purchases. How do you think, like when you look at these franchises out here, like the Dunkin' Donuts, the Subways, the McDonald's and all, do you think these people are buying these franchises in cash? Hey, they're not buying it in cash. No, in some instances, you need to have a certain amount of cash, liquid cash, before the franchise allows you to purchase. But they using money from the banks to be able to finance these franchises, these buildings, real estate. They go into the bank. The bank financed damn near half the world. They finance half the world. Why are we not getting financed by the banks? Why are we so scared to use it? You know, number one, because we don't got the leverage. You know, number two, we don't have we haven't thought out a strategy as to how we're going to be able to do it. So I just say, man, you know, like, that's one of the biggest things I learned at the bank, and I think that every single person that's at least 18 years old, even younger, if you got great parents who are going to be responsible. But if you don't, when you're 18 years old, I think every single kid should go into the bank and literally apply for a college card or a credit card with introduction, $300 to $500, and literally just make small purchases on the credit card and just learn how to start paying it back. That's it. Yeah. Just learn the habit of Oh, I gotta pay $50 this month. Oh, let me make sure I put it in my calendar. I gotta pay another $50 this month. Learn how that exchange of money works, and learn to not be late with people's money. That's just overall, to be honest with you, something you should learn anyway. Honestly, all of the wealthiest people in this world, they owe somebody money, but they know the law behind it. They know the rules behind making sure you're on time with people's money, knowing how to respect people's money, knowing how to make the right decisions. You learn that through the small things first. Let me make sure I pay the bank back that $50. You learn that. Now you'll learn how to get more money and say, oh, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna make sure I take care of him. And now you playing the game. Money is a game to me. To other people, it's kind of like, oh, well, I don't really play like that. I don't want to owe nobody no money. To me, I do, because it's a game to me. If I can get $1 million from 5 different people, and I know how to play around with it to make sure every month they still happy and they get their money, but I'm still doing well too, and I'm making a profit, yo, keep giving me money. So I don't got to use my own. It's a game. Whoever knows how to play the game the best wins. You know, it's like Monopoly. It's the same thing. Monopoly is a real picture of what life is, what life really is. Whoever is good at Monopoly, good at negotiating, good at leveraging banks, getting assets, they win. It's fast paced though, but that's why in the beginning you got to learn just the slow pace, and then ramp yourself up, and then you get to a point to where you're financially free. It takes time, of course, you know, but it's about having the right people around you who understand financial literacy, can break things down to you, and you're ready. You know, you get to that point.
Yeah, so really feel like anybody, especially right now, like I said, going to college, just because I've been there for, like I said, take the time to learn it. Take the time to learn. Like before I sign over that student loan, figure out what the heck interest is. Yo, something small like that.
Seriously, what does interest mean? What is an APR? What is all of these things?
Yeah.
How am I getting charged?
Yeah.
You know, what is the amortization schedule of this? You need to know that stuff. And most importantly, when you know your end goal too. Okay, if I got $90,000 in debt and it's gonna take me this amount of years to be able to pay it off, if my monthly payment comes out to my monthly payment will be $2,000 a month.
You know what's crazy?
My monthly payment $2,000 a month. Am I going to have a job that's going to be able to match the $2,000 plus another $3,000 that I need to be able to live? So am I going to be $5,000? $5,000. Trust and believe me, it's a hard job to come by. Real hard. I wasn't even making that at the bank. Before taxes. You get what I'm saying? So like, you ask yourself that ahead of time, that changes your entire career path of where you want to go and what you should be doing with your life.